Park Tae-ho was tired. His hands were covered in engine oil, and his back hurt from bending over a broken tractor all day. The old farmer had paid him half in cash and half in vegetables, which was fine. Money was money, and food was food. These days, Tae-ho took whatever he could get. He drove his old truck down the dark mountain road, windows open to let the cool autumn air wash over his face. The radio played old songs his father used to love. Tae-ho hummed along, not really listening, just enjoying the familiar sounds. His father had died 3 years ago, leaving behind a small repair shop and a mountain of debt. Tae-ho had thought about selling everything and moving to the city. But every time he picked up a wrench, he felt his father's hands guiding his own. He could not leave. This was his home. This was his life. The sky above the mountains was clear and full of stars. Tae-ho glanced up at them through his windshield, wondering if anyone was looking back. He laughed at himself, 32 years old and still thinking like a child. Then the sky broke open. A line of fire cut across the darkness, bright as the sun, leaving a trail of burning light behind it. Tae-ho slammed on his brakes and stared. The object was falling fast. Too fast. Heading straight for the valley behind his property. The impact shook the ground. Trees bent from the force of it. A sound like thunder mixed with screaming metal rolled across the hills. And then, everything went quiet. Tae-ho sat in his truck, hands gripping the steering wheel, heart pounding against his ribs. He should call someone. The police, the military, anyone, but his body was already moving. He pulled his truck off the road and grabbed a flashlight from under his seat. His legs carried him into the forest before his brain could tell them to stop. The walk took 20 minutes. Tae-ho followed the smell of burning wood and something else, something chemical and strange. The trees grew thinner, and then he stepped into a clearing that had not existed an hour ago. A crater stretched before him, 50 meters wide, still smoking. At the center sat something that made Tae-ho forget how to breathe. It was a ship. Not a plane, not a satellite. A ship. The metal was darker than anything he had ever seen, so black it seemed to swallow the light from his flashlight. The shape was wrong for human design, too smooth, too organic, like something that had grown rather than been built. Tae-ho walked closer. He could feel heat rising from the ground, but the ship itself was cool. His hand reached out before he could stop it. The metal felt like silk under his fingers. A section of the hull had torn open during the crash. Inside, strange lights pulsed in colors Tae-ho could not name. They were not quite blue, not quite purple, but something in between that his eyes did not know how to see. He climbed inside. The interior was cramped, filled with machinery he could not understand. Panels covered in symbols that might have been writing. Tubes carrying liquids that glowed soft green, and at the center of it all, a chair. Something sat in the chair. Tae-ho stopped moving. His flashlight beam trembled as it fell upon the creature. It was not human. It was not anything close to human. The body was thin and long, covered in a shell that looked like black glass. 4 arms hung at its sides, 2 of them clearly broken. Its head was smooth and eyeless, but somehow Tae-ho knew it was looking at him. The creature was dying. He could see that clearly. Dark fluid leaked from cracks in its shell. Its breathing, if that was what the clicking sound meant, was weak and uneven. Tae-ho should have run. Every part of his brain screamed at him to run. But the creature raised one of its unbroken arms and reached toward him. And then it spoke. Not with sound. The words appeared directly in Tae-ho's mind, like memories he had always had but never noticed. Help, please. Not much time. Tae-ho knelt beside the creature. Up close, he could see the damage was worse than he thought. The machinery behind it had collapsed, pinning its lower body. Even if Tae-ho could move the wreckage, he did not know if the creature could survive. What happened to you? Tae-ho asked. Images flooded his mind. He saw ships like this one. Hundreds of them. Flying between stars. He saw a great war. Explosions in the darkness of space. He saw hunters, soldiers in red armor, chasing something precious across the galaxy. They found me, the creature said. They will come here. They will take what I carry. What do you carry? Everything. Knowledge, history, technology, a gift for your people, for all young peoples. We spread seeds of progress across the universe. We are engineers. The creature's arm dropped to its chest, where a small compartment opened. Inside was a crystal, no bigger than Teho's thumb. It glowed with soft, white light. Warm, and somehow alive. Take it. Bond with it. Protect it. The hunters must not have it. I do not understand, Teho said. I am just a mechanic. I fix tractors and cars. I am nobody. The creature made a sound that might have been laughter. Mechanics understand how things work, how they break, how they can be fixed. You are exactly who this gift needs. Its arm pressed the crystal into Teho's palm. Pain, burning cold rushed through his hand, up his arm, into his chest. Teho screamed as the crystal sank beneath his skin, disappearing into his body like a stone dropped in water. His vision went white. His mind exploded with information he could not process. When he could see again, the creature was still, dead. Teho knelt beside the alien body, shaking, crying without knowing why. His hand clutched his chest where the crystal had entered. He could feel it inside him, spreading through his blood, changing something fundamental about who he was. Outside the ship, the forest was quiet. No birds, no insects. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Teho stood on trembling legs. The knowledge in his head was too much, too fast, too foreign. He stumbled toward the opening in the hull, desperate for fresh air. He made it 3 steps outside before his legs gave out. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was the stars above, cold and distant, and no longer alone. Somewhere out there, hunters were coming, and Park Teho, a simple mechanic from a small mountain village, was the only thing standing between them and everything they wanted. Teho opened his eyes to a familiar ceiling. His bedroom, the water stain in the corner shaped like a rabbit, the crack near the window that he kept meaning to fix. He was home. Finally, a voice said. I was starting to think you would never wake up. Teho turned his head. Yunhana sat in a chair beside his bed, dark circles under her eyes, her nurse uniform wrinkled like she had not changed it in days. Hana, he said. His voice was rough, his throat dry as sand. What happened? I was hoping you could tell me. She handed him a glass of water. I found you 3 days ago. Lying in the forest behind your house. You were burning with fever and talking in languages I have never heard. I thought you were going to die. 3 days. Teho sat up too fast and the room spun around him. Hana grabbed his shoulders and pushed him back down. Slowly, she said. You are weak. Your body went through something serious. I do not know what, but your blood work came back strange. Not bad. Just strange. Different. Teho remembered the crystal sinking into his skin. He looked at his palm. The skin was smooth, unmarked, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. He could feel it. I need to go outside, he said. You need to rest. Hana. He looked at her, and something in his eyes made her lean back. Please. She helped him to his feet. His legs were weak, but they held. Together they walked to the front door of his small house and stepped out into the morning sun. The world looked different. Teho could not explain it at first. The colors were the same. The shapes were the same. But underneath everything, he could see something new. Lines of energy running through the power cables above the street. Heat patterns rising from the engine of a parked car, the subtle vibrations of the earth beneath his feet. He looked at Hana and saw her heartbeat, saw the electrical signals running through her nervous system, saw a small problem in her left knee that would become painful in a few years if she did not take care of it. What is wrong with you? Hana asked. You look like you are seeing a ghost. I am seeing everything, Teho whispered. He walked to the car. It was an old thing, rusted and broken, sitting in his yard for months because he had not found time to fix it. Now, looking at it, he understood exactly what was wrong. The fuel injection system, a crack in the timing belt. corrosion in the wiring that would cause the battery to drain. He understood it the way he understood his own body. Completely. Perfectly. Teho, Hana said. Her voice worried. Talk to me. What is happening? He looked toward the forest. Somewhere up there, the ship was waiting. Come with me, he said. I need to show you something. The walk took longer this time. Teho's body was still recovering, and Hana refused to let him push too hard. But eventually they reached the crater. It was empty. Teho stared at the scorched earth, the broken trees, the evidence that something massive had crashed here. But the ship was gone. This is what you wanted to show me? Hana asked. A hole in the ground? You cannot see it, Teho realized. The ship. It is right there. He walked forward. Hana called after him, warning him to be careful. And then he passed through something that felt like cool water. And the ship appeared around him. Hana screamed. Teho turned back. From his side of the barrier, he could see her clearly, standing at the edge of the crater, staring at him with wide eyes. To her, he had probably just disappeared. It is okay, he called. There is a barrier. A perception filter. It hides the ship from people who do not have the knowledge to see it. He walked back through the barrier and took her hand. She was shaking. Trust me, he said. Together, they stepped through. Hana gasped when the ship appeared. Her medical training tried to make sense of what she was seeing. Teho watched her struggle with the impossible, the same way he had struggled 3 days ago. What is this? She asked. A ship, from very far away. Teho led her to the opening in the hull. The pilot is dead. But before he died, he gave me something. A gift. Knowledge. Inside the ship, the lights still pulsed in their strange colors. The alien body was exactly where Teho had left it, still and silent. Hana approached it slowly, her nurse instincts taking over, examining the creature even though it was clearly beyond help. This is real, she said. It was not a question. Yes. And this knowledge? What does it tell you? Teho closed his eyes. The information was still there, vast and overwhelming, but it was starting to organize itself, like a library being sorted, book by book, into sections he could understand. His people were called the Velen, Teho said, engineers. They traveled the universe, finding young species, leaving gifts of technology to help them grow. They have been doing this for millions of years. Why? Because they believe all life deserves a chance. They believe in progress, in potential. Teho opened his eyes. But there is another group. The Dominion. They conquer. They control. They do not want young species to grow strong. They hunt the Velen. They destroy the gifts. Hana looked at the dead alien, then back at Teho. They are coming here. Yes. The Velen was being chased when he crashed. The Dominion tracked him to Earth. They will send soldiers to retrieve the knowledge he was carrying, or to destroy it. How long do we have? Teho searched the knowledge in his head. Time was measured differently by the Velen, but he could translate. Weeks. Maybe less. Hana was quiet for a long moment. Then she laughed. A sound that was more exhaustion than humor. I always knew you would get into trouble someday, she said. I just thought it would be gambling debts or a bad relationship. Not an alien invasion. I am sorry. I did not ask for this. No, you did not. She looked around the ship, at the impossible technology surrounding them. But you have it now. So what are you going to do? Teho placed his hand on one of the alien panels. Information flowed into his mind. Ship systems. Weapons. Shields. Things that human science would not discover for centuries. I am going to fix this ship, he said. And when the Dominion comes, I am going to be ready. Hana nodded slowly. Then I will help you. Somebody needs to make sure you do not kill yourself in the process. For the first time since waking up, Teho smiled. The knowledge in his head was vast and terrifying. The enemy coming for him was powerful beyond anything Earth had faced. He was just a mechanic, just one man, with no army and no allies. But he was not alone. And that, he realized, made all the difference. 2 weeks passed, like water through fingers. Tejo barely slept. The knowledge in his head demanded action, showing him blueprints and designs every time he closed his eyes. His small repair shop became something new. Half of it still fixed tractors and cars for the local farmers. The other half, hidden behind a false wall, had become a workshop for building things humanity had never imagined. Hana came every day after her shifts at the clinic. She learned to hand him tools he did not have words for, to monitor the strange readings on alien devices, to keep him fed when he forgot to eat. "You are going to collapse if you keep this up," she said one evening, forcing a bowl of rice into his hands. "I cannot stop." Tejo looked at the device he was building. It would be a shield generator, capable of stopping Dominion energy weapons, if he could finish it in time. Every hour matters. You matter too. Dead mechanics cannot fix anything. She was right, of course. She was always right. Tejo ate the rice and tried to remember what rest felt like. The door to the shop opened. Both of them froze. A woman walked in, tall and straight-backed, with short hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She wore work clothes, but she moved like someone who had worn a uniform for years. "Hello, little brother," said Kang Jisoo. Tejo stood so fast he knocked over his chair. "Jisoo, what are you doing here?" "I came to visit." "Is that a crime?" She looked around the shop, at the strange tools scattered across the workbenches, at the soft glow coming from behind the false wall. "What exactly are you doing here, Tejo?" "Repairs. Normal repairs. Do not lie to me." Jisoo walked past him, past Hana, straight to the false wall. "I spent 8 years in military communications. I know when someone is hiding something, and I know that glow is not from any welding torch." She found the hidden switch and pushed it. The wall slid open. For a long moment, Jisoo simply stared. The alien devices, the partially built weapons, the holographic displays showing star maps and ship designs. "Explain," she said. Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking. So Tejo explained. Everything. The crash, the dying engineer, the crystal that now lived inside him, the Dominion coming to Earth. He talked for an hour, while Jisoo listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a very long time. "Show me the ship," she finally said. They drove up to the crash site together. Tejo led them through the perception barrier, and Jisoo's military training cracked for just a moment when she saw the alien vessel. "This is real," she said. The same words Hana had used, the only words that made sense. "Yes, and these Dominion soldiers, how many are coming? What are their capabilities? What weapons do they use?" Tejo pulled the information from his head. A standard retrieval team is 6 soldiers. They wear powered armor that enhances strength and speed. Their weapons fire concentrated energy that can burn through steel. They are trained for conquest. They do not expect resistance from primitive species. Primitive. Jisoo smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "They think we are primitive. We are, compared to them. Their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours." "Technology is not everything." Jisoo walked around the ship, examining it with professional eyes. "I have seen farmers with old rifles hold off modern armies. I have seen mechanics build weapons from scrap that worked better than factory designs. Never underestimate humans who are fighting for their home." She turned to face Tejo. "What do you need?" "Help. The knowledge in my head is vast, but I am still just one person. I need people I can trust. You have me." "What else?" They spent the night planning. Jisoo asked questions that Tejo had not thought to ask. Where would the Dominion land? What would their approach be? How could the terrain be used against them? She thought like a soldier because she had been one. Her experience filled gaps in Tejo's alien knowledge. By morning, they had a basic defense plan. It was not much, but it was something. The next surprise came 2 days later. Baek Sunwoo was a young man who worked part-time at Tejo's shop. He was 26 years old, had dropped out of university because he found classes boring, and had a habit of believing in things most people thought were crazy. Ghosts. Aliens. Government conspiracies. He was also surprisingly good at fixing things. "I need those parts from the storage room," Tejo said one afternoon, not looking up from his work. "The parts for the shield generator or the parts for the signal disruptor?" Sunwoo asked casually. Tejo's hands stopped moving. He turned slowly to face the young man. Sunwoo was grinning. "I am not blind, boss. I have been watching you for 2 weeks. The strange deliveries. The lights at night. The way you look at machines now, like you can see inside them." He leaned closer. "And I followed you to the forest yesterday. I saw the ship. You should not have done that. Probably not. But I did." Sunwoo's grin faded into something more serious. "My whole life, people have called me crazy for believing in things beyond this world. Now, I know I was right. So whatever you are doing, whatever is coming, I want to be part of it." Tejo should have sent him away. The fewer people involved, the safer everyone would be. But looking at Sunwoo's eager face, he saw something he recognized, the same hunger for purpose that Tejo had felt his whole life, fixing other people's machines, never building anything of his own. "It will be dangerous," Tejo said. "People might die. I know. You cannot tell anyone. Not your family, not your friends, no one. I understand." Tejo sighed and handed him a tool that looked like a wrench but operated on principles human science could not explain. "Then make yourself useful. I need those parts." The team was complete. A mechanic with alien knowledge, a nurse who kept everyone alive, a former soldier who knew how to fight, a young believer who refused to accept the impossible. 4 people against an empire that had conquered thousands of worlds. But they were not just fighting, they were building. Tejo merged human engineering with Velen technology in ways the archive had never predicted. Human creativity found shortcuts that alien logic had missed. Jisoo's military training created defensive strategies that used Earth's terrain as a weapon. Hana discovered that the alien medical technology could be adapted for human use. Sunwoo proved surprisingly skilled at hiding their activities from curious neighbors. On the 14th night, as Tejo put the finishing touches on the shield generator, the warning system he had built activated. Something had entered Earth's atmosphere. A Dominion scout drone. Tejo tracked it across his displays, watching it circle the valley, scanning for the crashed ship. The perception filter held, hiding them from its sensors. But the drone knew something was here. It kept searching, getting closer with each pass. "What do we do?" Hana asked. Tejo picked up the weapon he had been building. It was crude by Velen standards. A simple energy projector powered by human batteries. But it would work. He walked outside and aimed at the sky. The drone never saw the shot coming. One moment it was scanning the forest. The next moment it was falling, burning, crashing into the mountains miles away. Tejo lowered the weapon. His hands were steady. "Now they know where to look," Jisoo said quietly. "Yes." Tejo turned to face his team. "We have days at most. Maybe hours. The Dominion does not ignore threats. They will send soldiers." No one ran. No one suggested giving up. They simply nodded and returned to work, building faster, preparing for what was coming. The first shot had been fired. The war for Earth had begun. They came at night. Tejo felt them before he saw them. The archive in his mind recognized Dominion technology, sending warnings through his nervous system like ice water in his veins. 6 signals descending through the atmosphere, moving fast, heading straight for the valley. "They are here," he said. Jisoo was already moving, checking weapons, activating the communication system they had built from alien parts and human radios. Positions. Everyone remember the plan. Hana ran to the medical station inside the ship. She had spent days learning the alien healing technology, practicing on small cuts and bruises. Tonight she might need to save lives. Sunwoo disappeared into the forest, carrying a bag full of devices designed to confuse and mislead. His job was to make the enemy think they faced more than 4 people. Tejo stood at the edge of the perception barrier and waited. The Dominion soldiers landed in the clearing below, their drop pods hitting the ground with heavy thuds. They climbed out in perfect formation. 6 figures in red armor that seemed to drink in the moonlight. Their helmets hid their faces, but Taeho could see the weapons they carried, long rifles that glowed with contained energy. At their center stood someone different, taller, more decorated. The commander. Through the archive's knowledge, Taeho recognized the rank symbols. This was no ordinary soldier. This was an officer, someone who had conquered worlds, who had crushed resistance movements across the galaxy. Commander Vorath looked around the clearing with obvious boredom. His voice came through external speakers, translated into sounds Taeho could understand. Scan the area, find the archive, kill anything that moves. The soldiers spread out, their armor's sensors sweeping the forest. Taeho watched them approach the perception barrier, saw their confusion when their instruments showed nothing but empty space. "Sir," one soldier reported, "sensors are inconclusive. There is interference. Impossible. Primitive worlds do not have interference capability." Vorath stepped forward. "Suspicious now. Extend the scan range. Full spectrum." Taeho knew the expanded scan would find him. The perception barrier was good, but it was not perfect. He had seconds to decide. He decided to attack. The first shot hit the closest soldier in the chest. The shield generator Taeho had built absorbed most of the impact, but the force still sent the soldier flying backward into a tree. Before the body landed, Taeho was moving, firing again, using the trees for cover. "Contact!" someone shouted. Red energy bolts screamed through the forest, burning through wood and stone. Taeho rolled behind a boulder as a shot passed close enough to singe his hair. His heart was pounding, but his hands were steady. The archive fed him information, showing him enemy positions, predicting their movements. He popped up and fired twice. One shot missed. The other caught a soldier in the helmet, cracking the faceplate. The soldier dropped. "2 down," Jisu's voice crackled through his earpiece. 4 remaining, plus the commander. "I have eyes on 2 from my position. Take them when you can." A moment later, 2 sharp cracks echoed through the valley. Jisu had modified a hunting rifle with alien technology, giving it power that should have been impossible. 2 more soldiers fell, holes burned clean through their armor. 2 more down, Jisu reported. "The commander is retreating toward the drop pods." Sunwoo cut off his escape. "Already on it, boss." Explosions lit up the night as Sunwoo's devices detonated around the drop pods, filling the area with smoke and noise and false sensor readings. The Dominion commander and his 2 remaining soldiers found themselves surrounded by chaos. Taeho emerged from the trees. Commander Vorath turned to face him. Even through the helmet, Taeho could feel the officer's shock. A primitive, a single primitive with stolen technology, cutting through his soldiers like they were nothing. "Who are you?" Vorath demanded. "A mechanic. A mechanic." The word dripped with contempt. "You think you can stop the Dominion? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We have crushed species far more advanced than yours. Maybe." Taeho raised his weapon. "But you have never fought humans." Vorath moved fast, faster than any human could move, powered armor boosting his speed beyond natural limits. His blade came out, a weapon designed to cut through bulkheads, and he swung it at Taeho's head. Taeho ducked. The knowledge in his mind predicted the attack half a second before it came. He rolled under the swing and came up firing, his shots hitting Vorath's chest plate again and again. The commander staggered but did not fall. His armor was stronger than the soldiers, designed to survive direct hits from starship weapons. He laughed, a harsh sound through his speakers. "Your weapons cannot hurt me, primitive." "Maybe not." Taeho glanced to his left. "But hers can." Jisu's modified rifle fired once. The shot hit Vorath's knee joint, where the armor was weakest. The commander screamed and dropped, his leg giving out beneath him. The 2 remaining soldiers tried to help their commander. They never got the chance. Taeho and Jisu cut them down in a crossfire, their bodies hitting the ground before they could raise their weapons. Vorath tried to stand, tried to reach his communication device, tried to call for help. Taeho kicked the device away and pressed his weapon against the commander's cracked faceplate. "You lost." Taeho said. This changes nothing. Vorath's voice was tight with pain, but still arrogant. My ship is in orbit. They will see what happened. They will send more soldiers. They will burn this entire valley to ash. Then we will be ready. Taeho pulled the trigger. The silence that followed was deafening. Taeho stood over Vorath's body, breathing hard, feeling the weight of what he had done. He had killed before tonight. He had never killed anything that could talk back. Taeho. Hana's voice came through his earpiece. Worried. Are you hurt? He looked down at himself. Burns on his arms. A cut across his shoulder that he did not remember getting. Blood soaking through his shirt. Yes, he admitted, but I am alive. Get back to the ship. Now. He walked back through the forest, past the bodies of fallen soldiers, past the burning wreckage of the drop pods. Jisoo and Sunwoo joined him. Both of them wounded, but still standing. We won, Sunwoo said. He sounded amazed, like he could not believe what they had just done. We won this battle, Jisoo corrected. You heard what the commander said. There is a ship in orbit. They know we are here now. Taeho nodded. The perception barrier is damaged. It will fail within hours. When it does, anyone can find the ship. And the Dominion will not make the same mistake twice. They will not send soldiers. They will send the warship itself. Inside the alien vessel, Hana was waiting with medical supplies. She worked quickly, cleaning wounds, applying alien healing technology that knit flesh together faster than human medicine could dream. But even as she worked, Taeho was thinking. The archive showed him possibilities, scenarios, options. There is another choice, he said quietly. Everyone looked at him. The ship. The engineer's vessel. I have been repairing it, learning its systems. It is not fully functional, but it can fly. He took a deep breath. I can take it into orbit. I can meet them before they reach Earth. That is suicide, Jisoo said flatly. Maybe. But if I stay here, they will destroy everything. The valley, the village, every person I have ever known. Taeho looked at his team, his friends, his family. I will not let that happen. Hana finished bandaging his shoulder. Her hands were gentle, but her eyes were hard. Then we go with you, she said. No, absolutely not. You do not get to make that choice. Jisoo crossed her arms. We started this together. We finish it together. I'm not staying behind while you have all the fun, Sunwoo added. Besides, you will need someone who believes in impossible things. Today proved that. Taeho wanted to argue. He wanted to protect them, to keep them safe. But looking at their faces, he knew it was useless. They had made their decision. Fine, he said. Then we have work to do. Outside, the first light of dawn was touching the mountains. In orbit above them, a Dominion warship waited, preparing to end the threat posed by one small planet. They had 48 hours. It would have to be enough. Taeho did not sleep for 48 hours. His hands moved constantly, guided by knowledge that was not his own and instincts that were purely human. The alien ship transformed beneath his touch. Velen designs merged with human engineering, creating something neither species had ever built alone. Where the Velen thought in straight lines, Taeho thought in curves. Where their technology was elegant and precise, his modifications were rough and effective. The archive in his mind watched what he was doing with something that felt like surprise. You are changing the designs, it whispered. I am fixing them, Taeho said, making them work better. This is not how the Velen build. I am not Velen. I am human. We do things differently. By the end of the second day, the ship was ready. It looked wrong now. Patches of human metal welded onto alien hull. Wires running where they should not run. Systems connected in ways that made no logical sense. But when Taeho powered it up, the engines hummed with strength that even the Velen had not achieved. It is beautiful, Sunwoo said, staring at the hybrid vessel. It is ugly, Jisoo corrected. But it will work. That is what matters. They boarded together. Taeho took the pilot seat, feeling the ship respond to his thoughts through the crystal in his body. Hana secured the medical station, Jisoo strapped into the weapons console, her military training adapting quickly to alien controls. Sunwoo handled communications, his talent for believing impossible things helping him understand systems that should have been beyond human comprehension. "Everyone ready?" Taeho asked. "No," Hana admitted. "But that has never stopped us before." Taeho smiled and activated the engines. The ship rose from the valley, punching through the atmosphere like a fist through paper. Below them, the mountains shrank to toys, then to nothing. Above them, stars appeared, cold and clear, no longer hidden by sky, and between them and those stars, the Dominion warship waited. It was enormous. The engineer's vessel could have fit inside it 100 times. Weapons covered every surface. Enough firepower to level cities, to burn continents, to end worlds. "They are hailing us," Sunwoo said. "Audio only. Let them speak." A voice filled the cockpit, cold and mechanical, translated by the ship's systems. "Primitive vessel. You will surrender immediately. The archive you carry belongs to the Dominion. Resistance will result in your destruction." Taeho opened a response channel. "The archive belongs to no one. It was a gift to humanity, and we do not surrender." Silence. Then, "Your species has no value to us. Your world has no strategic importance. We would have left you alone if you had not interfered. Now you will serve as an example." The warship's weapons charged, glowing bright enough to see across the void. "Incoming fire," Jisoo reported, her voice calm. "I see it." Taeho flew. The alien ship responded to his thoughts faster than any machine should. He dove and rolled and twisted through space, dodging energy beams that could have vaporized mountains. The warship was powerful, but it was also slow, designed to crush enemies through overwhelming force. It had never faced anything like this. Human intuition, human unpredictability, human refusal to die when logic said they should. "Returning fire," Jisoo said, and the ship's weapons sang. Their shots were weak compared to the warship's armor. But Taeho was not aiming at armor. He was aiming at systems, sensors, communication arrays, engine ports, all the small, vulnerable places that the Dominion had never bothered to protect because no primitive species should have been able to reach them. The warship shook as secondary explosions rippled across its hull. "They are launching boarding craft," Sunwoo reported. "6 of them. No. 8. They want to take us intact. Round, 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 round. Let them come." Taeho pulled the ship around, using the planet's gravity to accelerate faster than the pursuing craft could follow. "Jisoo, target the boarding pods." With pleasure. 3 boarding craft exploded before they could reach halfway. The others scattered, trying to find angles of approach that did not end in death. But the warship was learning. Its guns adjusted, predicting where Taeho would fly instead of where he was. A shot clipped the hull, sending alarms screaming through the cockpit. Another tore through the left engine, cutting their speed in half. "Hull breach," Hana reported. "Sealing it now. But we cannot take many more hits like that." Taeho knew she was right. They had surprised the Dominion, hurt them, forced them to take this fight seriously. But the warship was too big, too powerful. Eventually, they would make a mistake, and the Dominion would destroy them, unless Taeho made a different choice. "Everyone hold on," he said. He flew straight at the warship. "What are you doing?" Jisoo demanded. "Something human." The ship accelerated, burning through the last of its engine power, heading directly for the warship's command section. Defensive guns tracked them, fired, missed as Taeho pushed the vessel through maneuvers that should have torn it apart. They hit the hull. Not an explosion. An impact. The hybrid ship was not just a weapon. It was a boarding craft, designed by a mechanic who understood that sometimes the best way to fix a problem was to get inside it. They crashed through the warship's outer hull and skidded to a stop in a corridor that stretched into darkness. "Everyone alive?" Taeho asked. Groans and curses answered him. Alive. Somehow. We are inside the warship, Sunwoo said, wonder in his voice. We are actually inside, and we are not staying. Taeho grabbed the weapon he had built, the same one that had killed Commander Vorath. The command center is 3 levels up. If we can reach it, if we can disable their systems, we can end this. They moved through corridors that were too tall, too angular, designed for bodies that did not match human proportions. Dominion crew members appeared and fell, surprised by the impossible, by humans walking through their ship like they belonged there. The commander of the warship was waiting for them. He stood before the doors to the command center, blade in hand, armor gleaming. He was larger than Vorath, stronger, older, a veteran of conquests stretching back centuries. Remarkable, he said. Truly remarkable. No primitive species has ever breached a Dominion warship. You should be proud. Your names will be recorded in our histories. We do not care about your histories, Taeho said. We care about our home, your home. The commander laughed. A tiny rock on the edge of the galaxy. It means nothing. You mean nothing. Then why are you afraid of us? The commander stopped laughing. You are afraid, Taeho continued. The Dominion has conquered thousands of worlds, but you have never faced anything like us. We learn too fast. We adapt too quickly. We refuse to accept limits that other species accept. That is why you hunt the Velen. That is why you destroy the archives. Because you know that if younger species get our hands on that knowledge, we will surpass you. The commander attacked. He was faster than anything human. His blade cut through the air where Taeho had been standing. Where Taeho should have been standing. But Taeho was not there. He had learned from fighting Vorath. He knew how the armor moved, where it was weak, what its limits were. He was a mechanic. He understood how things broke. The fight was brutal. The commander was better trained, stronger, more experienced. But Taeho had something the commander did not. He had 3 friends who refused to let him fight alone. Jisoo shot the commander's sword arm. Hana threw a device that disrupted his armor's power supply. Sunwoo created a distraction that made the commander look away for just 1 second. 1 second was enough. Taeho drove his weapon into the gap between the commander's helmet and chest plate. Energy discharged directly into the body underneath. The commander fell. The doors to the command center opened. Inside, the remaining crew stared at the humans who had killed their commander, who had fought through their ship, who had done the impossible. They saw 4 people covered in blood and burns, still standing, still fighting, still refusing to die. They surrendered. Taeho walked to the main console and placed his hand on it. The crystal in his body connected with the ship's systems, flooding his mind with information. He found what he was looking for and activated it. A broadcast. To every Dominion ship in range. To every conquered world. To everyone listening. This world is protected, Taeho said. Any ship that approaches will be destroyed. Any fleet that attacks will be defeated. We are humanity. We do not surrender. We do not give up. And we are just getting started. He cut the transmission. The journey home was quiet. The captured warship followed behind them. Its crew confined. Its weapons disabled. They landed in the valley as the sun was setting, painting the mountains in gold and red. News of what happened would spread. Taeho knew that. The Dominion would not forget this defeat. Other species would learn about the humans who had fought back. Everything was going to change. But for now, there was peace. Weeks later, Taeho stood in his repair shop, surrounded by tools both human and alien. An elderly farmer waited outside with a tractor that had broken down again. You sure you still have time for this? Hana asked, watching him prepare his tools. I am still a mechanic, Taeho said. That has not changed. Everything else has. Yes. He looked at his hands. The same hands that had fixed cars and tractors and alien starships. But this is who I am. I fix things. I help people. The scale is different now. But the principle is the same. He walked outside to meet the farmer. who complained about the noise from the valley lately, about the strange lights in the sky at night. Tejo listened, nodded, and got to work. Above them, the stars shone bright. No longer distant. No longer alone. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was watching, waiting to see what humanity would do next. And Park Tejo, the mechanic who fixed the stars, smiled and started on the tractor's engine. There was always more work to do.